I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I often do, Green Bay Packers quarterback. Aaron Rodgers wants to be the new host of Jeopardy. He has acknowledged it. He said it yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. He said, yes, I want to be the host. He came out and said, listen, I have 187 work days a year in Green Bay. I only would need 46 days to work for Jeopardy. I would like to do it. And, it'd be easy to say, he's not as committed as Tom Brady or Russell Wilson. But I want you to think about this. If you are frustrated with anything in your life, relationship, wife, husband, work, kids, anything, parents, anything, you have two options. This is all you can do. You can keep denying reality, or you can create a new reality. So Aaron Rodgers, and you all know this, you follow football, we all know it here, is frustrated with Green Bay. They draft Jordan Love instead of getting defensive help. They won't get him a number 2 wide receiver on the free agent market. They couldn't retain Corey Linsley, the Pro Bowl center. They couldn't keep Jared Cook years ago. They got rid of his quarterback coach. Remember, Van Pelt didn't tell him. They couldn't get J.J. Watt. We know he's frustrated. That's not an argument. So he can deny the reality of Green Bay, or he can create a new reality. And I think Aaron Rodgers is creating a new reality. And I think it's mentally very healthy. He's saying, Green Bay, you're mostly committed to me. And now I'm mostly committed to you. Green Bay is saying, we love you, Aaron, but we see the future. And Aaron's saying, I love you, Green Bay, but I see the future too. I think it's very healthy. Look at it from Aaron Rodgers' perspective. Tom Brady has an all-star team around him. Drew Brees, last 3 years, had an all-star team around him. Patrick Mahomes has an all-star team around him. How the hell can they afford Joe Thuney? Jared Goff had an all-star team around him. Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo. And Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm the MVP. I'm 37. And they can't retain the best center in football? What? He was a 5th-round pick. You didn't pay him anything for 4 years. So you can just put your head down, deny the reality of what Green Bay does with Aaron Rodgers, or you can create a new reality. And I think it's very healthy, and I think you can keep doing it over and over. Like if you married somebody, if you married some guy and he still goes on Vegas weekends with his boys, and he still goes on golf weekends and disappears and leaves you with the kids, you can deny that's who he is, or you can go have some fun too with the girls in Vegas, or you're going to resent him. There's only two options when dealing with frustration. Deny it, it's not happening, or create a new reality. And Aaron's saying, yeah, Green Bay's mostly committed to me. Mostly. But not like Tampa is to Tom, or the Saints are to Breeze, or Kansas City is Mahomes, or it appears Buffalo is with Josh Allen. I mean, they're committed mostly. So Aaron's saying, I'm committed mostly. I mean, the Packers draft Jordan Love. We love you, but we're looking to the future. And Aaron does a game show and says, I love you, but I want to do this for about 60 days a year. I think it's totally healthy. Good for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, think about Aaron Rodgers. He just wins the MVP. He wins the MVP. You think they would be doubling down on him. Instead, they couldn't keep their center or get J.J. Watt or pay for a second receiver. And in his world, he's like, time out here. Have you seen what Tom has and what Breeze had and what Mahomes has? And the Bills just got Josh Allen, another wide receiver. First it was Cole Beasley, then Stephon Diggs, then Emmanuel Sanders. Rebuilt the offensive line. Are we dealing with another bank here? Are they doing overseas stuff? So I actually, when Aaron does this, I don't know if he'd get the Jeopardy job or not. Listen, Michael Strahan got the Regis job, and he wasn't a star quarterback. He's just a funny, popular defensive lineman. I have no problem with Aaron Rodgers getting the Jeopardy job. I think I'd probably get him. He'd get talked about more than Ken Jennings. But listen, man, if you're frustrated in any part of your life, You can put your head down and deny it or create a new reality. Good for Aaron. You know, I am so... At some point, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to admit that I'm his ally. That's like the 38th nice thing I've said about Aaron. So it's very interesting. The Atlanta Falcons general manager wants to draft a quarterback, according to Chris Mortensen. The new coach, Arthur Smith, says, no. Matt Ryan's fine. He's 35. He's got a lot of good years left. I agree with the coach, not the GM. So anytime in the moment, like my wife and I, she's struggling with something, I always say, this is my rule. If I would have given you what's happening today 10 years ago, go back a decade, and I said, this is our reality today, would you take it? And my wife, we got 6 kids, 2 are mine, 4 hers, mixed family, right? And sometimes she'd be like, oh, the day-to-day vagaries of having kids, right? The struggles and the hardships. And I always say to her, okay, if I'd have told you 10 years ago, my son is this just joyful, loving tech whiz. We got 1 in Vermont Prep Academy. 1 played lacrosse in college. 1's a chef. 1 got an academic scholarship at a university, and 1 is going to an amazing school out east. Would you have bought that 10 years ago? I know where we were with these kids 10 years ago. I'd have bought that 10 years ago. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day struggles, because raising kids is hard. Like, right, you're going to have bad weeks. You know, the old joke is the days are long and the years fly by with kids. But the days, let me tell you, folks, they're long. They're long days with kids. They're kids, right? They're learning. They're growing. Their brains don't function completely yet. They're not all developed. And so the guy that wants to get rid of Matt Ryan, let me ask you this. I'm not even going to count Matt Ryan with Kyle Shanahan when he won the MVP. I'm not going to count that. I'm not going to count that. For my argument, I won't. Because nobody gets the number 1 offensive coordinator for most of their career. I'm not going to count it. I'm going to go the last 4 years after Kyle Shanahan. Matt Ryan, 96 passer rating, 66% completion percentage, 286 yards per game, 4th in the NFL, 2.5 times the touchdowns as picks. By the way, that's with 2 coordinators, Dirk Cutter and Sark. That's not ideal. So he's had multiple systems to learn. Matt Ryan's problem is stylistically, he does not look like what we want our quarterbacks to look like now. We have these big, strong-armed mobile quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Mahomes. And if you don't have one of them, you're like, wait, I don't like that. And I get it. You know, grass always greener. But the division Matt Ryan plays in, and this league's about winning your division first, has been dominated by pocket quarterbacks. Breeze and Matt Ryan have won the division each of the last 5 years, and now it's owned by Brady, another pocket guy. Atlanta's only done one thing well the last 3 to 4 years: pass. They do nothing else well. They pass. And Matt Ryan, in the last 4 years, has led the NFL in attempts, completions, and passing yards. Now think about that. That goes back to my initial 10-year argument. Do you believe, if you're the GM of Atlanta, if you draft Trey Lance, and that's reportedly who he wants, and I think he's talented. I like Trey Lance. But do you believe that Trey Lance, in his entire career for a 4-year period, will lead the NFL in attempts, completions, and passing yards? Even if he's good, that's highly unlikely. Of the 131 quarterbacks drafted since 2010, 11 have been hits. 11. So ask yourself, would you have years ago, when Kyle Shanahan left, half decade ago, if I said to you, yeah, Matt's going to lead the league in attempts, completions, and passing yards, and basically be the only positive element to your football team, you want to get rid of that? Derek Carr is the only thing saving the Raiders. Matt Ryan's the only thing saving Atlanta. Go look at the 14 quarterbacks who made the playoffs last year. I would take Matt Ryan over at least half of them. Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, Baker, Alex Smith, Trubisky, Goff, and even Tannehill. Because I think Tannehill, now that Arthur Smith is gone, will go down. Again, if you live in the moment, Matt Ryan, stylistically doesn't look like what you kind of think the NFL is becoming. And I get that. I absolutely get that. This team does nothing well, though, except pass. That's all they do well. That is it. And Trey Lance could be terrific. But Atlanta could literally. Sam Darnold got 3 picks. 2 great ones. Do you know what you could get for that 4th pick to move out? You could get multiple first-rounders. Outside of one defensive tackle, you don't have anybody on defense anybody's afraid of.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.